Why do so many people detest cyclists to an aggressive extent? It's exactly like how there are good drivers and bad drivers. I commute on bike every day and see assholes across the board. My only issue is that there's not enough cyclist lanes, so they're legally allowed to occupy the same roads as motor vehicles. This makes no sense to me. It adds frustration from drivers and danger for the cyclists from those frustrated drivers. Cyclists don't go as fast and in the US mostly need to occupy car lanes. This leads to car drivers getting frustrated at the cyclist whose only option is to either ride on the street or ride on the sidewalk. When there is one, the US has horrid bike infrastructure, and decades of prioritizing cars over all other modes of transport has forces bikes to occupy what's seen as car space. Also, some car drivers are absolutely deranged. I mean, just look at the thousands of videos of road rage. Cyclists deserve their own lanes that aren't just a painted gutter on a road. Paint is not infrastructure. Where I live, people love to go on long, cross-country bike rides in large groups. Seemingly they take the day off because it's often around 712 am. I don't mind it because it is a great spot for a bike ride. But driving down single-lane roads with groups of cyclists who literally never let you pass for like half an hour behind the same group going 20 miles per hour is pretty frustrating. Hate is a strong word, but as someone who walks a lot, they make me nervous. They often don't follow traffic laws, ride aggressively, and ride on the sidewalk even when there's a bike lane right there. It doesn't help that you can't always hear them coming. I've had more close calls with cyclists than with cars while walking, so I always try to stay away from them. I do not hate any one group of people. In my city, traffic violations and incidents are close to 50-50 split between motorists and cyclists. I treat everything on the road as potential obstacles and do not make it personal. Cyclists and pedestrians are far more unpredictable than motorists. It is easier to accept that as fact and move on. I have to go to work on bicycle all year round, and there is zero bad blood towards me during winter when there is ice or snow on the ground. Only when the sun shines. I get weekly harassment. Very interesting, I would say. It has been years, many years, since I have seen someone on a bike stop at a stop sign, use hand signals, give right-of-way to pedestrians on a sidewalk. About half don't even ride on the correct side of the road or obey any other road rules. Cross lanes without warning and weave between cars. A good number have no lights or reflectors at night. They are downright scary. As a driver, I fear I might hit one. As a pedestrian, I have been hit a few times. I don't have an issue with cyclists in general, but it bugs me that some of them insist upon biking in the road, but do not stop at lights or stop signs. If you want to be treated like a car, you need to follow the same laws that the people driving cars do. Another thing that really bothered me was when people would bike on the sidewalks in Chicago, where that's actually illegal. There's plenty of bike lanes for these people, or at least room in the road, so they don't need to be endangering pedestrians. I live on a street where there are multiple pelotons of cyclists on the weekends. Here are my gripes. And yes, I understand that they are legal on the streets. 1. When it is a pack of 20 or so and they are of varying ability, I get stuck behind a chubby dude in Lance Armstrong gear going 10 miles per hour in a 30 zone because the pack is too wide and long for me to safely pass. Point 2. They have zero regard for stop signs. They are lucky that I am not some sociopath that will blast through them when they refuse to stop at a stop sign. 3. Then it is just 1 or 2 and they don't ride close to the curb so faster traffic can get around them. I know they don't have to. But, once again, making me go 15 miles per hour going down a winding 30 miles per hour road is maddening. When I pass, I give them the whole lane. Am never rude, don't honk, and try to be an amiable fellow citizens. But the entitled ones make me dread seeing another group of middle-aged men in skin-tight spandex, laboring on a skinny two-wheeler. Sadly, most countries do not have the needed infrastructure to deal with cyclists, which means they drive either on car lanes or walking lanes, which in return means that they hold up traffic, or that they are a danger to pedestrians. This in turn has turned into a bit of a communal hate for cyclists in those countries. And some people can't even imagine what a good cycling infrastructure looks like, or have never seen it, so they don't even know all the rules which come with this infrastructure in countries which do have them. Apart from the usual motorists, bus passengers and pedestrians are pissed at cyclists too. Bus passengers reached workplace late because one cyclist decides to hog the bus lane. Pedestrians can't even have a peaceful and safe walk without getting shooed by cyclists. I don't hate cyclists en masse, but some have a dual mentality where they are not the same as a car in a lane if that lets them cut past everyone at a light or stop sign, but want to be treated as a car in the full lane when riding between lights, stops. If you're a car in a lane, then wait in line like a car. If you aren't a car in a lane, then get off to the side of the road so people can go around you. Neither is perfect for you, but you have to pick. Cyclists, the ones in compression shorts and jerseys, ride bikes for the sake of riding bikes, and thus they want long roads with minimal intersections. Highways fit that bill perfectly, except for the cars hurtling down them at 70 miles per hour, 112 kilometers per hour. As a driver, the faster you're going, the more jarring an unexpected obstacle is, and the angrier you get at the cause of that obstacle. In America, most road networks are built exclusively for cars, and cycling is at best an afterthought. As a result, the only people who cycle regularly are the aforementioned cyclists, who are fit and risk-tolerant enough to take on the roads. This is the type of person Americans picture when they think of a cyclist. It is simply not a thing for a normal person to bike into town for some errands, as it is too dangerous and/or difficult. If we had more dedicated cycling infrastructure that is safe and convenient, bikes would not interfere with car traffic as much, and you would see more people on bikes besides cyclists, thus removing the stereotype of cycling being a disruptive hobby for pretentious tryhards. Here's a more in-depth explanation by the YouTuber Not Just Bikes. My issue first came up when I was driving to my grandmother's house and a group of about 10 cyclists were on a 50 miles per hour road. I was going the speed limit and clearly the group was not going that fast. I made a curve and all of a sudden there were all these bicycles. I had to slide into a ditch to avoid them. Sometimes cyclists take roads without cycling appropriate speeds just because it's a pretty ride, and risk their lives while drivers risk manslaughter charges. Nobody wants to hit a cyclist, but sometimes they act like it's on the car drivers to keep them safe when they engage in risky behavior. Luckily, this is such a non-issue in the Netherlands. No one is a cyclist here. People will take their car, bike or public transport depending on what's most convenient for that particular journey. Cyclists are not some special group. It's just everyone who happens to be on a bike. Most drivers ride bikes on a regular basis. Bikes share the street with cars in many low-speed areas and the two are able to coexist. Most of the comments you got must have come from US Americans. No one remembers the guy just going along, riding his bike, Everyone remembers the guy who carelessly flew out in front of them and almost caused an accident. There's a bit of a lack of self-awareness that goes into it. Cars are easily the #1 cause of transit deaths on the planet. More than plane crashes, boats capsizing, train derailments, etc. Drivers will unironically claim that cyclists are unsafe because they aren't obeying traffic laws that were designed to regulate and mitigate the danger associated with cars. Cars with massive blind spots. Cars that weigh 2 tons. Cars that occupy large amounts of space. Cars with awful turn radiuses. Cars that easily accelerate with minimal effort on the part of the driver. Cyclists don't jump the median and kill a family of 4, or plow into someone's living room. Traffic laws designed to regulate cars often make cyclists less safe, and they find themselves adapting to a set of rules that don't make sense in light of the vehicle that they're riding. I don't own a bike. I am a driver. But the bike hate ignores where the danger really comes from. If you have to drive in the road and you cannot keep up with the traffic, you shouldn't be in the road. And pick one, motorist or pedestrian. You aren't both. I commute to my office most days on a bike and follow those 2 simple rules. Rarely have any problems with drivers. This pretty much covers it for me. SFW. https://www.youtube.com/watch v = zbffrsvgu1y.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.